into the Lair episode 3, my Monosynths, right? Now, I only have 2 Monosynths. I know some people want like 20 Monosynths. I don't even want a lot of synthesizers. I just want what works for the song. Now, to make it super clear, the Sub 37 has probably been the bass synth or lead synth, probably more the bass. I would just say the bass. On my last 2 albums, the Sub 37 has been the bass on like the majority of the tracks, the vast majority. It just works. It always works. It never doesn't work. I've never had a track where it just doesn't work. I actually am not a crazy like patch making person. So let me show you. I only have, this is Bank 16. I literally only have 4 presets. This Biddle Lyric is based on the Little Lyric preset, and it's the one I just use for leads. But this fat bass, 16 number 2, it's literally the one I use for like every bass. And I adjust it differently. Maybe I'll open up the filter. Maybe I'll change the saturation or something over here. But honestly, it's the same one 90-80% of the time. Because it literally holds rock solid in the spot you want it to. Just in the mix. It just sticks in the right place in the mix. I think the Sub 37 is the best bass synthesizer. And I'm not gonna say lead, because I think it's the best mid to low range synthesizer that exists. It is super saturated. It is super punchy. It is super thick. And I think some people would say like it's too thick sometimes. The best part, I think, about the whole thing is obviously the filter section. You can kind of do some stuff that's, I wouldn't even call it unique, but you can kind of do some stuff that's very, almost like fitting it in the mix just on the synthesizer itself. If you want to do the multi-drive, you want to push the multi-drive up, the multi-drive is going to get you a lot more low mid, growl. If you want to do the feedback, it'll give you more woolly, like, it's going to make it smoother. I don't think that there's probably something more appropriate for getting a really great bass sound out of the box than the Sub 37 if you need it to come through the mix and you want it to be rock solid. Now, let's talk about for leads. I love the Sub 37, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's my like lead synth thing. For leads, this one, the MS-20, the Mini, I think it's still like highly underrated, or it's just because it's so old, people have forgot that the MS-20 Mini even exists, I swear. Like, people, I don't know. People have forgotten about the MS-20 Mini. The MS-20 Mini is so sweet sounding. It is a gorgeously sweet sounding lead synth. If we talk about vintage sounding, the Sub 37 to me is not extremely vintage sounding. Turn down the multi-drive, turn off the feedback, push the oscillators back to very low. Don't do the sub so high. Maybe, make sure that you're really not pushing the mixer at all so you don't saturate it. And then you can get vintagey type sounds, okay? The oscillators are just so perfect in the Sub 37 that's why I love it for bass. On the other hand, the MS-20 Mini, or MS-20, whatever, such an amazing raw but clear top-end sound. If we're talking a raw but buttery, melodic melody or something, just add this with some delay or some reverb, some chorus. So good. So good. So really, in summary, the Sub 37, you need it for bass if you're just out here like needing to buy something. If you want to go melodies, you're needing the MS-20. Don't have anybody tell you that you can't get really great bass out of the MS-20, because you absolutely can. You can drop those oscillators much lower, but to me, it's smoother. It's smoother. It's not as easy to coax that thick, punchy, the weight of the Sub 37 is just, it's so heavy. It's so heavy if you want it to be. The MS-20 cannot be as heavy in the lower, mid, and low region. If you're a person who's like me, the Sub 37 is a tour beast. I don't know why I don't see it out on the road more. My filter has that weirdo thing that happens when, you have like a bad circuit board, but who cares? I'm not sitting over here waggling filters, and I'm not cranking resonance and doing it's literally sitting in the same place. It's a bass with small movements, minor movements, and I'm just not look, I'm a preset playboy. People know I'm just trying to craft songs out here. I'm trying to finish albums. I'm not really over here heavily tweaking knobs. I find something that's really going to be solid to fit a piece of music, and that's where I'm sort of leaving it. I think there's cool things about the Sub 37 that I don't use unless I'm just messing around with it. So one, the dual mode. Dual mode is awesome. Dual mode, obviously you can play, it becomes a duophonic synth, splits your oscillators, but I don't think that you can really have a more, just like that, to me, is how you get to a more vintage sound. You can dual mode, turn down the oscillators, or just use one oscillator through the filter. That's how you get a little more vintagey sounding. As well, I actually really like the sequencer in the Sub 37. I think it's tricky to do sometimes for people to set up what do I press? What do I press this latch? And then how do I do these things? But it's awesome. Lastly, the thing I love the most about the Sub 37, it has a plug-in for your DAW. If we're talking about recallability, sessions, when you need to do something again and again or switch something up for a client, being able to recall in a session is huge. I have this as it's just default that's open in all of my sessions. Whenever I need to pull up a sound, it's as easy as going and opening a session, and it just recalls where I'm at. Every setting is right there. Obviously, you don't get that on the MS-20, but, Moog is actually really good about that. I don't know if do they make plugins for the new Messenger and the new Muse? Let's hope so. I don't know if they do, but I know that they did in this era. The Sub 37 has been followed up by the subsequent 37, which they changed some of the gain structure, I believe. I don't care. If it works, we don't need to buy more just crap to sit on our shelves just because. I'm going to say, if you're a person who really, really wants to get a piece that's going to work for everything, and you're like a vintagey synth head, I think the MS-20 is the mono to go with. It just feels so real and raw and accurate to the time. It just has so much character. The MS-20, to me, is just it's just it's beautiful. It's a beautiful character piece. The Sub 37 is a modern bass monster. Leads, it's going to cut through everything, but it's not for everybody. I don't think it's for everybody. And honestly, if I had to pick one to do everything, of course I'm picking the Sub 37, guys. But if I was one of those people who just wanted that vintage craze, the MS-20 is the one to go with. There's a lot of other synths out there, and these are way, way old. The MS-20 and the Sub 37 are like almost as old as each other. I think the MS-20 Mini specifically, came out like 2012 or 2013, something like that. Maybe. It's like one of the originals. This is like one of the original, like when synths were coming back in vogue. This 2014, I believe 2015, 2014. Anyways, I don't think that I'm alone in saying that the Sub 37 is a modern day classic, but I also feel as if the MS-20 Mini is a modern day classic. It really is not as small as people think. I believe it's like 80% of the size of a regular MS-20. So honestly, the Mini is not that mini, and they both have USB, Mini over USB. So they're both fully modern. They feel modern. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to talk about my only two monosynths. I don't have any other monosynths in here. I mean, there's like this other stuff, but I'm not a monosynth monster, guys, and I don't know why people have so many monos. Just, you can have one and you're fine. Anyways, guys, another episode into Lair. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, peace.